Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It is the final approaching very, very fast. We had the men's semi-finals. They got completed earlier on this evening. And it's sort of one that we expected on one side, and on the other side, it's one we should have expected. Novak Djokovic versus Mateo Beretini, mate. And I'll bring up the little graphic for you.
Well, let me just add to that then. It is the one I predicted based off yesterday, in theory. I know I was wishy-washy about the Berrettini one. I wasn't sure if Hubert Hurkacz could turn up because he's been playing so great. But the semi-finals today didn't disappoint. I thought there were some good semi-finals. Shapovalov played very well, just not good enough. And that's the best he could really have hoped for. It's going to be straight sets. It was against Djokovic. Yeah. Close ones, but no cigar. And it was Djokovic into the final yet again. But we're not here to talk about the semi-finals. It's final time. We're going to start with the men's. And I know you kindly set up the podcast, but I'm guessing the title of this video is Can Berettini Stop Djokovic? Something along them lines.
Very much. I mean, it's sort of the running theme of Wimbledon, isn't it? We started Wimbledon with Can anyone stop Djokovic? Then it became Can a few people stop Djokovic? Now it's just Can one man stop Djokovic, which is Berettini. It's the big question, mate. It's the Italian.
I'm going to go straight in with it then and try and answer it the best way possible. For me, Novak Djokovic today didn't play that great. We obviously covered it on the watch along against Shapovalov. I wasn't actually that impressed. I really wasn't. I thought he was a bit lethargic. He was sort of going through the motions, not playing nowhere near at the level we expect from Djokovic at Wimbledon. I would probably say in numerical terms, playing at about 50%. I think he's got a lot more left in the tank. Shapo, though, was giving his all until he gets to, say, 4 or 5 all and then crumbling, double faulting on break points. A bit of a weak mentality, if I'm honest. He was the better player most of the set until it became important, and then Djokovic wiped the floor with him. And you can say that's all part of the game. It's a big part of it, of course. And Djokovic mentally is a lot more superior. Well, was a lot superior to someone like a Shapovalov. In this final, though, he's going to have to play a little bit better. He's just going to have to, because for me, Berettini is the level above Shapo, maybe 2 or 3 levels above. I think the weapons he has, not many people have on tour. He's got arguably one of the best serves on grass. His forehand, one of the most powerful as well. And he's just impressed me the most out of anyone this tournament. And if you'd have asked me this finalist at the start of the tournament, I would have said, not really. I think Djokovic wins in 3. But after today's showing and how well Berrettini played against Hubert Hurkacz, I thought he was immense. And Djokovic not playing great. I honestly think we could be in for something very special. And I'm going to definitely surprise you here because I think Berrettini could do something very, very good in this final.
Well, mate, you've got to have a look back down the list of Berrettini's matches. He's just won 11 matches in a row. His last loss, Novak Djokovic in the French Open. It was in 4 sets. He did take a set off Djokovic. He's the only loss that he's had in the past. Well, add that's 12. And then he won 3 matches before that as well. So that's 15. In the last 15 matches, he's only lost 1, and it's to Novak Djokovic. Djokovic on a 17-match winning streak at the moment. The last match he lost was the final in Rome, if we remember rightly. And that was to Nadal, very close match. Before that, he won obviously 4 matches on the bounce. His last loss before that, Karatsev. So it's all green. These guys, you look down their form, green. Lots of wins. And they're the right 2 finalists, definitely. Berrettini, he offers something slightly more than Shapo offers in the fact that he can do the 1-2 punch better. He can do the big serve. He can put away the second ball. Shapo wasn't really doing that today. He pushes Djokovic, and he definitely can give him a close set. He just can't do it consistently enough. And that's the thing we saw today. Look, I think surprised me a little bit. It was just the fact that Hurkacz's serve didn't get going. Berrettini's serve, excellent. The whole match for somebody who's in his first Wimbledon semi-final, absolutely hit the nail on the head. He had the little slip up in that third set, but he just still didn't drop his serve. It was just tie break. He just got pipped on a few points on the tie break, and that was it. If he serves like that, I can see him taking a set against Djokovic in this final. But we all know the mental giant, he hasn't dropped a set since the first set of the tournament. And that is a big, big stat right now. People have been trying their best and playing great against him and still not even winning a set. And it's becoming a little bit of a joke. I know he's the joker. Do you see how well Shapo played? Shapo was playing out of his skin today, and then he gets to the business end, and it's just like, oh, we've been here before. Djokovic, the mental giant, comes in, and then the other player falls apart. Is Berettini going to be the same as Shapo? I think he's slightly stronger mentally. Can he get more than a set? I think he might be able to. I think he might be able to even push him to 5.
Yeah, I think so. Well, we went to 4 in Roland Garros, and as much as people are saying, "Oh, Djokovic plays a lot better on the grass," I think Berrettini does as well. Reason being, all of his shots are just a bit more intense. They bounce off the surface that little bit faster, and his game is power. It's not really so much big rallies and placement. He can do that as well. He showed that today against Hurkacz. He can do a bit of everything. He really impressed me. In fact, his backhand slice I thought was really good today. He's gonna need a lot of that as well against Djokovic. Yeah. But I just think with the conditions being on grass, he's going to be able to hit some massive serves. And Djokovic is going to struggle a little bit with some of them. I know he's the best returner in the world, but some of them ones we saw today, what was it, 137, 134s?
So quick.
Close to 140 miles an hour. They're just unreturnable because they're in the corner as well, catching lines. And it's all about how many he can get in. He needs to have a first serve percentage of 70% upwards. If he gets 80%, I think he can win. I'll push it out there. But my actual prediction for this match, because people are all saying, "Oh, I'm a bit wishy-washy," not really saying it, is I still think it's going to be number 20 for Novak Djokovic, and it's going to be 5 sets. Right. And I can even tell you the way the 5 sets are going to go. I think Berettini is going to take the first 2. It's going to be kind of a repeat of what we've been seeing recently. We saw it with Musetti. We saw it with Tsitsipas in the Roland Garros final. The other player, nothing to lose. They come out fast. They're the informed guys. Tsitsipas on clay, been the best player this year, even better than Rafa, I think. Berrettini, been the best man on grass, better than Djokovic, better than Federer, no doubts about it. He's going to take the first 2 sets. Djokovic is going to come back and win in 5 like he always does because stamina-wise, he's got it. And I think he's just going to know. He's going to win. He's just going to find a way. He'll find a way to just crack Berrettini down. I think the Berrettini serves are only going to diminish as the match goes on as well. And if he loses that, there's no chance. And the final big thing is I think Djokovic at the start may take him a while to get going. But when he's going in the third, fourth, and fifth set, I think all he's going to be doing is peppering it to the backhand of Berettini, forcing it in that corner. And we're going to see like 10-shot rallies of him just peppering that corner. And Berettini is going to be slicing them into the net and long and wide.
Yeah, my big fear for Berettini is the serve stops going. And that's when I'm going to be feeling really bad for him because, if that first serve stops firing, I think this game set match nearly instantly because I don't see how he beats Djokovic in just a normal rallying situation. Djokovic will move him around. Djokovic will throw so many different things at him. I'm worried for him that he won't be able to work it out quick enough to, before he gets broken, let's say, and then the set's already gone. Djokovic will be spending his time, like you said, working him out gradually. If he loses a set, he doesn't mind. He'll take a set loss just to try and work you out on where you're serving. If you're going down the tee too much, he's going to start adjusting. He's the best returner in the game. So he's going to start making his moves, probably like you said. I'm still unsure is it going to take 2 sets to work it out? Is it going to take 2 sets for Berrettini to tighten up? Maybe. Or maybe Djokovic works him out sooner. Or maybe it's just... Sorry.
I think this is a really good comment here from Totsadesho. Medvedev in Australian Open, Tsitsipas in the French Open. They all looked fantastic before they lost to Djokovic. How will Berettini react? I like that because on the hard courts, start of the year, we had the Nitto ATP finals to end last year. Medvedev beat everyone in it, was looking the best player on the hard courts. And let's be honest, at that period, going into the Australian Open, I honestly believed he would win it. I really did. He was that good on the hard courts. He'd already shown he can beat Djokovic on it in the ATP finals. But he got absolutely demolished in the final. It was a demolished job. Tsitsipas on the clay, unplayable at times. I know Rafa beat him when they did play, but it was so close. He had a match point against Rafa. There was nothing between them. Tsitsipas winning more matches than anyone on the clay. He was looking amazing. Plays Djokovic, takes 2 sets to love lead, ends up losing. And it's just a bit of the same story yet and yet again, because now we're onto the other surface, grass, and it's not Federer impressing me the most. It's this man Berrettini. He won Queens. He's beaten some good players along the way, demolished people. You've got to be honest. Some of the people, I don't know if you want to go through his run here. I'll just get it up. He's beaten in the last 3 rounds Felix and Hubert Hurkacz with relative ease. And he didn't even play that well against Felix from what I've seen. He just did what he had to do. Today, against arguably one of the best players this tournament and Wimbledon, the man who people were saying could actually trouble Djokovic in the final, he kind of demolished him. It was a demolished job. He bageled him in one of the sets and he looked formidable. He really did. He's got better and better as the tournament's progressed. And that's why he's just such a massive threat on the grass. He's, for me, the best player on grass right now. But like the other examples, you just know Djokovic is going to find a way just to kill him off.
Yeah, it just looks... It's one of those stories, isn't it? You just keep looking, saying, who's going to be the man to be able to do it? Medvedev, everyone thought, wow, this is the best chance anyone has ever had to beat Djokovic. No. Tsitsipas, he's the best player on clay this whole year. No. Even though Tsitsipas did great, got two sets to love lead, a long game in the third was all it took. Yeah. And now we're in the same situation where you worry for Berettini because Novak Djokovic, this will be his 7th Wimbledon final and he will be able to take his 6th title at Wimbledon. He would have only lost 1 final at Wimbledon. This is Berrettini's first ever Grand Slam final. You got to put that into perspective. This is Novak Djokovic's 30th Grand Slam final. He has been round the mill more times than anyone, really. Well, there's probably a few other people that have, but he is up there with most Grand Slam finals, and he probably will. When he finishes his career, would have probably been in the most Grand Slam finals, I'm sure. But the 30, he's going for 20. That means he doesn't do bad in finals. I think he's got like a 2/3 win percentage in Grand Slam finals, which gives him sort of the edge. And they're normally playing Nadal or Federer or the other big finalists who are used to it. He's now playing somebody who's never been there before. It's going to take a monumental mental game from Berettini to be able to do this. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's not just that. How many times? Let me know in the chat, guys. When was the last player to win a Grand Slam in their first final? For me, it doesn't happen often. I can't think of one off the top of my head. It just doesn't seem to happen. Obviously, Team had a few before. Zverev's first one, he couldn't do it. This is going to be Berettini's first. Medvedev, of course, he couldn't do it. And aside from that, it seems to always be the main guys in there. So I'm not sure.
And Cilic.
Did Cilic win in his first one?
Yeah, I believe.
Okay. I just quickly, I want to give a shout out to Michael Walker before I lose it. It's just thanks for the super chat. I don't know if you want to update that one. He's just saying Novak isn't Usain Bolt in the Olympics. He really believes in the Italian, and Michael does get a lot of things right. But what I want to know from you, Michael, is what makes you think Djokovic isn't going to find a way like he has done? He's proven himself so many times. I think at this stage, I don't want to be harsh to anyone supporting Berettini, but you've got to be a bit short-sighted if you think Djokovic doesn't win here. Like, we've seen enough already. There's so many results on every single surface where you get stung. You get stung too many times if you don't fancy Djokovic here in this final. It's like, where have you been? You've been hiding under a rock for the last few years.
Well, mate, look,
he's the man to beat.
He dropped sets in his last two matches, Berrettini, and he's dropped them to Hurkacz and Felix, whereas Djokovic hasn't dropped. You look at Djokovic's matches, maybe some people say, he's had it easy. He's been playing Draper, Anderson, Kudla, Garin, Fucsovics, and now Shapovalov. It couldn't have it any easier, some people might say. But you can only beat who you put in front of you. And Shapovalov, I think, was playing his best tennis I've ever seen in this tournament.
Yeah.
And he still did him in straight sets. It's scary. And I think Berrettini, he brings a different challenge. Is it enough, though, in your first slam final? Not many people get the first one over the line. That's my worry for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, where's it gone? Michael was just saying, I believe in youth.
Yeah.
In youth must be served.
I would love it. I would love to see Berrettini. I think he's so deserving of winning a big tournament, especially if he can win Wimbledon. Who knows? He could be back again next year and be another contender again. I think he has the ability to win multiple Grand Slams. He just needs to... There's just that one little bit, isn't there, in his psyche where he needs to be able to beat these big players. And that's where he's fallen down. The semi-final in the US Open.
And the last person to do it, Tennis Highlights was saying Wawrinka, because Cilic and his opponent were both in their first Grand Slam final.
True, with
in terms of Nishikori, yeah. So because of that, you'd have to look at it as Wawrinka was the first person to do it, playing against another Grand Slam champion. It's a big ask. Big ask. Stan's a big, powerful man. Berettini's a big, powerful man. They've got very different backhands, but Berettini serves a lot better than a Wawrinka. So let's just see what happens. I'm definitely really pumped for it. I think it's going to be an exciting day. We've obviously got the Euro final afterwards. It's a great big day for Italy. Momentous occasion. I'm sure the whole nation's going to stop. They got some tennis at 3 o'clock in Italy, what it will be, and then the football at 9.
Yes, mate. It's going to be
a big day for Italy.
Absolutely massive day if you're an Italian on Sunday. I bet there's going to be a fair few drinks flowing all the way from 2 o'clock in the afternoon, all the way through up until that final whistle goes in Wembley Stadium. Which, mate, we'll be watching that one, that's for sure, as well.
And just your final thoughts on this. What's your prediction? So my one, Djokovic in 5 and Berrettini to take the first 2 sets.
I'm going to go Djokovic in 4, the same as their last meeting. I think Berrettini might take the first set, and then I think it just turns around. I think the serve's big. I just think he works him out, and that's it. I'll be surprised. I'm being honest now. I'm actually be surprised if he takes a set, which is really... I know it sounds... the more I look at it, and the more I look at...
No, I think I'm pretty confident that he takes a set. I really believe...
He serves the same way.
Djokovic has just not impressed me enough to be able to get this done in 3. He really hasn't.
I know
he really hasn't. He's not played that great. He's not really been challenged either.
No, it's true. This is what I mean. It's difficult to make the decision because he hasn't played anyone similar or anyone you think, oh, wow, look, he really tested. No. So it's difficult. I'm going to say Djokovic in 4, though. I think he works him out. He takes the first set, Berrettini, but Djokovic works him out early. He doesn't even get to the second set, Berrettini. I think he's done after that.
I think this sounds crazy, yeah? The only way Berrettini beats him is in 3.
I don't think that's crazy at all. I think that's
literally the only... If anyone thinks Berrettini's going to win, it has to be 3.
That's the only time he lost was in straight sets, and that was to Andy Murray in the final. So
yeah, I think it's going to have to be a complete smash and grab before Djokovic knows what's happened. It's over.
Exactly.
I'm talking like an hour and a half or something.
Djokovic, maybe 40 unforced errors.
It's going to have to just be something mental. Maybe 1 hour 40, match done, Berrettini, free love.
Yeah, that's what it was like with the Murray one. It was pretty much like that. It was the smash and grab, straight sets win. And could we see it again? Berrettini has the tools, just has to implement them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Vance, they're saying Novak normally plays average in most matches, but wins in the key moments. That's his style. Complete legend of the game.
Energy conservation.
We've got George there going. Djokovic in 3, 4 at a massive push. Let us know your predictions, guys. We've got Sharuk, saying you just predicted Djokovic in 4, Ben.
Yeah.
How can you be surprised Berrettini wins a set?
How can I be surprised? Well, there's part of me that thinks if he serves the way he served today, he takes set off anybody. You see how big his serve is? It's ridiculous. No one can even get a racket on it. It's that good. And if he finishes the second ball, even if you get it back, I think he's got the ability to just easily take a set. It's just if his serve's going.
Yeah, and the Murray one was a long match, mate. It was like a 3 set over 3 hours.
That was it. Not such a smash and grab, that one.
No. More of a slog.
A slow grab.
We'll just read some more predictions. We've got Gio there, Mateo in 5, Tot Djokovic in 4, Daniel Djokovic in 5, Daniel Mateo in 5. If it goes 5. The thing is, I think to beat him in 5 is just so tough.
Yeah, it's
very unlikely. That's why I say it has to be 3 if Berettini's to win. But I think we've done the men's to the death. We've got Vinay, last one, 6-3, 6-3, 6-1. Doesn't give Djokovic doesn't give Berrettini a chance. Yeah. But let's move on to the women's because we've done this one. I know we've been speaking for about 20 minutes. It's going to be great. Hopefully you can join us for it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notifications to know when we go live. We will be going live well before 2 o'clock. We will not be late. We'll do our best not to anyway.
I can't promise. But we
can't promise too much. This one is going to be tomorrow, though. So this is the big one tomorrow. Karolina Pliskova versus Ashley Barty. Of course, Ashley Barty's won a few. How many Grand Slams she won? 2, is it? Or 3?
Ashley Barty, I think she's only taken just the one, isn't it? I don't know.
No,
bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to bring it up.
I've not actually done too much prep for this one.
No, mate, I haven't either, but we've been so busy. Yeah, she just won the French. Yeah. And she was
mad. I thought she won 2. But she got to... Oh, yes. In the Australian Open, she's always disappointed. That's the problem. She should have done better in the Australian Open. Cheers, guys. We're saying 1. So she won the French Open in 2019. She got semi-final in 2020 of the Australian Open and then a few quarterfinals there as well. It's a matter of time before she starts racking them up, I think. And I think this is going to be number 2. I'm not going to beat around the bush. People know my opinion on Pliskova. I think she's a bit of a lightweight, if I'm honest. The craziest thing for me is this. Rome double bageled in the final, yeah?
I know.
Guess who got double bageled in the final last year? Or not in the final, in the tournament, in Rome?
I don't know. You tell me.
Kenin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then she went on the next tournament, she won a Grand Slam. I don't want to just say I'm just putting it out there. Kenin got double bageled in Rome, went in and won, was it? What did she win?
She won the Australian Open, which was before it, I thought.
Or was it before? She got to the final, sorry. No, yeah,
she didn't win it.
She got to the final.
She did the whole run, though, didn't she?
Yeah. So she got double bageled in Rome and then got to the final. Pliskova, double bageled in Rome, gets to the final of the next slam. It is a bit mad, the women's tour. I really don't understand it. It's just a big shock being there, but she's looked great. She really has. She kind of outplayed Sabalenka. In fact, I think she was a bit unlucky not that it went to 3. I thought she was better value than that and could have got it done in 2.
I think so as well, mate. I think she could have got it done in 2. Sabalenka very lucky or very fortunate to have managed to have grabbed the first set. I don't know. It was just that double. I called it, didn't I? It was on break. The only break point she had in the match, I think, and she double faulted on it on set point. Just terrible. But we know that she gets nervous, and you saw the ball toss started going a bit weird. She started taking her time. She was dropping the ball, and it was rolling away from her. You're just thinking, oh no, she just doesn't handle the nerves well. And she had to get the break early in the set to be able to get it over the line. And I think that's the key for her. Break early, and then she's all right. Don't leave it until the business ends to get your work done. But Ash Barty...
And these two, though, have played each other so many times. I'm looking at quite a few different meetings. I don't know if you know the overall head-to-head. I can do the
overall head-to-head is 5-2 to Barty. But we're going back some. Like their first 2 meetings were both on grass, 4 years apart, and they're 1 apiece on grass. But we're talking 2016, their last meeting. So I don't know if you can even read anything into that. And Pliskova won that one. 2 tie breaks, which are the closest tie breaks ever. And the last 3 matches, Barty's beaten her, but quite close as well, though.
Yep.
3 sets still. I'm not
probably the one to look into the most was the WTA finals one in Shenzhen, where in the playoffs there it was 3 sets, but Pliskova took the first 6-4, then Barty come back 6-2, 6-3. It is a tough one. I think Barty's not played anyone really like this so far this tournament. It's a bit of a different prospect of Pliskova, serving really well. It's not going to be that straightforward, but I think I can't see Barty losing it. I really do. It's a bit like Djokovic in the other one. She's just the one Grand Slam for her just doesn't seem enough. She's a lot better value than that. And I honestly think she's could quite well do very well at the US Open. I think next year as well, she could be taking maybe 2 slams as well because she's that good. She's the most consistent women's player, and there's not many consistent like her. She's got every shot in the book, and she does it well. So at the end of the day, anyone who has an off day that she beats.
Totally. I agree with you, mate. She's the most consistent player. She's number 1 on the tour for a reason. She just barely misses. And she won at a canter against Kerber. Kerber's been looking great the whole tournament, and Barty hasn't dropped a set since the first set, I think, of the tournament. It's similar to Djokovic, really. The world number 1s are really just cementing why they were number 1. They dropped 1 set, the first set of the tournament, and then they literally steamrolled everybody. And Barty, her play against Kerber, she's looked even better than she did against Tomljanovic.
She peaked. She actually peaked.
It's amazing. And the only thing that impressed me more than I'd say Pliskova won straight sets all the way up until Sabalenka, and then we've now seen the nerves started to come in. She played some great stuff. She played some really good tennis, but I've still got reservations about the nerves. And Barty, not so much. I think Barty's getting better and better, and I echo what you said. She deserves another Grand Slam. She's been world number 1 for quite some time now. About time she started adding those Grand Slams up. Get another one, add the French on there, and start trying to get that career Grand Slam and get some hardcourt ones on it afterwards.
Yeah, because for someone, I'm looking now at Pliskova, moving on to her. She's been on the tour competing in Grand Slams since 2010. Yeah, so that's 11 years on tour. And what has she really ever done? She got to a final at the US Open in 2016. She lost that one. She's got to 2 semi-finals since. She's got to a few quarterfinals, I think 4 quarterfinals. And then a lot of the time it's second round, third round, fourth round. And she's been high in the rankings. I think in the world she's been like, 4, 5, 6 in the top 10.
Always top 10.
Great tennis player. But when it comes to the slams, she's good for value for maybe the first, second round, always goes out. And she just disappoints time and time again. She's an experienced player. She handles the nerves quite well in smaller tournaments. But in the big tournaments, she just can't handle them at all. And she just turns into a complete shell of herself. And I think we're going to see the same thing here. That's why I'm going for a straight sets, Barty win. And I think one of the sets could be a 6-1 or something.
I'm not so sure about 6-1. I think we're going to see Plisk probably push it to the business end. She has to break early for me. If we go 4-4 around that score, I think Barty's is her set to take. And I think we probably see this. It could go to 3 for me. I think Pliskova could break early in the second. I think she loses the first. She breaks early in the second. It's a typical women's match. We go 1 set apiece, and then Barty just gets it over the line in the third. 1 more break, I think. I don't think we see any tie breaks in this one.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just having a look here, and it just says the slump and resurgence of Karolina Pliskova in 2021. It's a bit harsh.
It's good to see that she's made the inroads, and you see how much it means to her and her team as well. She's very grateful to all of her team for persevering with her, and it can't have been easy when you're part of the team of a player who's supposed to be one of the best players on tour, and they just can't get results, and they're like in a losing mode. Imagine like someone like Gael Monfils probably was going through a terrible slump as well. Basilashvili, another terrible slump. These players, you have to stop the rot at some point, and I'm happy for her in the way that she is a top tennis player, and we haven't seen it. Now we're getting to see why she is ranked where she is, and we don't have to give her such a hard time about it.
Yeah.
We can actually say, well done, you've done it at the Slam now. We'll get off your back.
Something important to note about these two as well, they've both only dropped one set the entire tournament, which is amazing, if I'm honest. Ashley Barty losing it dropping a set in the first one. I don't think she was really one bit like Djokovic. Carla Suarez Navarra, she dropped one.
Hadn't played in the grass yet.
Pliskova only lost one literally the last match she played against Sabalenka, and she was really unlucky to drop that set. She was better value for it. Just crumbled. Did she double fault on set point?
Set point, yeah.
Yeah, sort of a bit like a Shapovalov.
Yeah, a little bit.
I was going to ask you, who do you think's played the better players so far this tournament? So I'm having a little look down the list. I don't know if you've got it up because I've got all mine here. I can give you a run through.
I think it's
Pliskova's played Zidansek, Vekic, Martinkova, Samsonova, Golubic, and Sabalenka, whereas Barty's beaten Carla Suarez Navarra, Blinkova, Siniakova, Krejcikova, Tomljanovic, and Kerber.
I'd say Pliskova's played the harder players, to be honest.
I disagree.
Looking up the list, I would say Krejcikova, more clay quarter. Tomljanovic, I was surprised she was even there in that far into the draw, to be honest. Siniakova, she's good. I still don't think she's on the level of someone like an Ash Barty. And the other, Blinkova and Carla Suarez Navarra, I don't think are that tough. I think Pliskova, she's had a semi-finalist from the last Grand Slam in her first match. Donna Vekic has always been pretty decent. Martinkova, not so strong. Samsonova just won a tournament on grass. Golubic also been playing really well on grass recently. And then Sabalenka, who is a nightmare for anybody, really, to be honest. But Kerber, obviously, on Barty's side. So
yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it to you.
Well,
sorry, mate. My video just paused. The truth of the matter is, I don't think so. I think because Barty's played the likes of Kerber, for me, that's worth 2 or 3. And Krejcikova, I know you've dismantled it to sort of say, oh, she's a clay quarter. She's not that bad on grass. She's played pretty well as well so far. And I think that was a tough one. And Tomljanovic has been playing awesome on grass as well. So I think you're being slightly harsh. I think Barty's had the tougher draw, but it's been very close. Let's see what's in store tomorrow. I've gone for my prediction, Barty straight sets. What's your one?
Barty in 3. So we're both going.
How's the scores going to go? Close?
Yeah. I just gave you it before, remember? So Barty to win the first set is in the business end. Pliskova to break early in the second and then win that. And then it'll just be a single break in the third for me for Barty.
No worries. I think we'll wrap it up there then, guys. Yep. Thanks for joining us on this one. That is our final review of Wimbledon. It's been a great tournament. Thanks for joining us the whole way. We haven't done as much as we'd love to, but we will make sure we'll make up for it in the future tournaments, and we've got plenty more tennis to be played this year anyway. So like this video, hit the subscribe button. Let us know in the comments as well. We do read all of the comments, so make sure to keep commenting on our videos on who you think is going to win Wimbledon this year for the men's and the women's. I think we've both got the same outcomes, different sets, but we're in for a thriller. So make sure to join us for the Saturday and Sunday final.
Indeed. See you tomorrow.
See you guys.